Pretty sure you've heard that one before, right? Ew, anime is full of like little girls and stuff, isn't it? That's cringe. Don't they just scream a lot and have like crazy hair?
Like anime is too over the top.
They would do that. You watch anime? Their voices are so
This is why I can't tell
anime.
people I watch anime.
Anime is so weird. But, I mean, is it really though? Okay, let's start this off with a little creative brainstorming, yeah? Everyone can play along. Your answers don't gotta be the same as mine. What is the most anime plotline you can think of on the spot? Well, of course, it's gotta have a teenage protagonist who has some sort of special ability that sets them apart from everyone else. He's gotta have a cute little sister, and the relationship has to be borderline problematic, cause that's what weebs fantasize about, right? They definitely gotta fight a super comically evil dark demon lord. And there's gotta be a weird little mascot character for comic relief. Oh, and of course we gotta have some fan service for the female characters. Cause I mean, it ain't anime if it isn't creepy and perverted towards women, right? I don't know, I think that's a pretty good bare bones outline for, you know, your run-of-the-mill anime. I mean, if this got made, it'd probably go viral and win something at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, which people still watch for some reason. But guess what? Something like that already has been made. It's called Star Wars. Teenage chosen one protagonist, weird little sister relationship, evil dark lord, comic relief mascot character, and the fan service. But Star Wars was made in the West, and it's become such a staple of pop culture that Western audiences don't really find anything weird about it. You see, what makes anime is the fact that it comes from Japan, right? Anime is how the Japanese refer to animation, so it really just means any animated media, regardless of where it's from. But we like to specifically think of anime as something that's uniquely Japanese. And I mean, come on, Japan is for sure a weird place, right? Well, see, the thing is, there are a lot of weirdos all over the world that all create weird things. But Damian, anime characters look so weird. Why do the Japanese have to give them crazy hairstyles that are like blue and stuff? It's almost as if cartoons are supposed to look, you know, cartoonish. But Damian, the plot lines are so crazy and degenerate. I mean, only Japanese people could think up a show like Redo of Healer. You ever hear of Greek mythology before? There's some crazy stuff in there. Isn't there like a story where Zeus turns himself into a swan to consensually, or maybe non-consensually, fill up some lady with eggs? Yeah. People have been telling stories for all of history, and every weird thing you can think of has already been written down on like a stone block somewhere and probably masturbated over. So if you're watching an anime and you see something and think, huh, that's weird, chances are it's probably pretty tame in the grand scheme of things. But you see, my audience is primarily people in the West, right? America, Canada, Europe, all that. I myself am American. I mean, obviously I'm ethnically an Asian guy, but I was born in Southside Chicago and I've lived in this country my whole life, so I am a very culturally American dude. Western culture is what I'm familiar with, and Western media and all of its tropes and cliches are standard to me. And I'm operating under the assumption that this applies to a lot of y'all watching this as well, if my YouTube demographics are to be believed. The thing is, usually when Western American people see something they're unfamiliar with, their first instinct is to say it's weird or off-putting. And of course the reverse applies too. People in Asia think that the things people in the West do are also weird. But let me say this, if being reincarnated as a refrigerator, or if homoerotic ghosts fighting each other is your idea of weird, you should see some of the things that Western media has come out with. Now, I don't want to make any wild accusations about people, but the notion of anime being weird because Japan is weird is a bit xenophobic. Again, I'm not calling anyone a racist if they think that. I mean, that'd be ridiculous. I'm just saying every country and every culture has their share of weird things. If you see a lolly fan service anime, it's easy to be like, whoa, that's weird. Oh, it's from Japan? No wonder. That's a foreign country that I have limited knowledge of, so any media I find off-putting that's from there must be because it's a different country. I mean, what else could the reason be? But then you look at French director Luc Besson and how he made The Professional, and it's like, you know, where's that same energy? Do people call France a weirdo pervert country? Well, they probably do. Because if all countries, including America, make weird media, but you only think Japan is weird because of anime, I mean, you see where I'm going with this, right? Again, not making any accusations here, I'm just saying. But even then, the idea of suggesting that all anime is all one way, or that all anime is watched only by a certain type of person is just not true. Anime is a medium, not a genre. Like I mentioned earlier, while anime is usually used to refer to animation from Japan, Japanese people themselves use anime to refer to any type of animated work, regardless of style or origin. That means Family Guy is anime. That means Beauty and the Beast is anime. That means SpongeBob is anime. That means anime is not just this, or this, or this. Anime is just animation, and that encompasses a whole range of storytelling genres with, thousands of shows. And yeah, some of these shows are weird, but if you're gonna assume all anime is for weirdos just because My Life as Inukai-san's dog is weird, then you better say that all live action movies are for weirdos too, because of that one movie where Christina Hendricks plays a furry. I don't know. It always confused me as to why anime is the only medium that gets these kind of broad, sweeping generalizations. No one would use the Netflix pedo movie Cuties to make the argument that all live-action film is degenerate, and no one thinks all rap is silly and goofy because of Lil B. And while video games used to all get lumped together, you'll find few people outside of boomers who think Undertale and the new Call of Duty are in any way comparable. Unless you're talking about JRPGs, which often do get lumped together and are all deemed as degenerate. I wonder why. What's the common denominator? I don't know, I wonder. The sentiment that anime as a whole is some kind of inherently strange thing disregards the fact that anime is a diverse medium. It's as simple as that. But going even further, the assumption that certain genres of anime attract a certain type of person is also a generalization. Y'all are catching on by now, right? It's not the best idea to generalize when it comes to art. For example, there's a certain assumption that the kind of people who like the rom-com genre are lonely, wish fulfillment losers, and, well, I mean, looking at the kind of shows that we have these days, I get it. But romantic comedy covers a broad range of shows, because I mean, Fruits Basket is very different from Rent a Girlfriend. Also, I mean, let's be real. It's silly to make assumptions about how a person acts in real life based on the media consumed. Like, come on, y'all. You know how many people watched violent, depraved-ass Game of Thrones for 8 seasons? You know how many of them are violent and depraved in real life? I mean, hopefully not a lot, Jesus. It's kind of like the age-old debate about if video games cause violence. I, as a grown-ass man with kids of my own, can sit down to play Red Dead Redemption 2 and tie someone to a railroad track and massacre a town of people, and then get up from my desk and live my life like a normal person. You know why? Because I'm an adult that can separate fiction from reality. In the same way, just because someone gets entertained by horn dog shows like To Love Ru or High School DxD, those kind of shows that people love to prop up to show that anime fans are perverse coomers, doesn't mean that they support any of those proclivities in real life. It's just, entertainment. Although I'm sure there are a bunch of weirdos who do watch these type of shows. I mean, you can't really assume that, right? Otherwise, like I said, keep the same energy for other non-Japanese media. I mean, that's the whole point I'm making. So by now, you should get what I'm saying in this video, right? A lot of the weariness Western audiences have when it comes to anime is usually because it's human nature to think that foreign things are, well, foreign. Even besides that, making assumptions about a medium of art is just a goofy thing to do because at its core, anime is just animation. That doesn't imply any other inherent characteristics, so assuming it's weird and for weird people only is misunderstanding what anime is to begin with. But all that being said, anime is pretty fucking weird, but that's a good thing. Weirdness, however you define it, is what makes art good. It's a little thing called being creative. These days it's said that nothing is truly original, right? Everything is inspired by or rips off something that's already been done before. Nothing is really new, and it seems like people love to complain about how unoriginal things are. So why is it that when people see media that's different from what they're used to, they're quick to dismiss it as just being weird? Isn't that a good thing? Isn't that what we want from art? Stuff we've never seen, stuff that's foreign to us, stuff that gives us an experience we've never had before or opens our eyes to a new perspective. That's like you know, the whole point of making art, right? Because I mean, the tropes and cliches that we see all the time in media today were once new, groundbreaking, and weird. For example, one of the first blockbuster superhero films was Richard Donner's 1978 Superman film. It came out during a time when live-action superheroes were still a novelty, as opposed to today where there's a new superhero film every week. So when people look at anime and see something strange that they're not used to, like for example, having different stages of power-up transformations that you activate by screaming, sure, it can be weird if you're not used to it, but maybe weird can be a good thing. It's something new that you can experience for better or for worse, and that's what art is all about. Anyway, that's all I want to say. If you enjoyed my little rant, please leave a like and subscribe, and if you really enjoyed it, consider donating to my Patreon to help me buy like groceries or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's the video. Peace.